Alright, so we're looking at two events on each one. We're trying to figure out what happened first. So looking at the first one, you've got the conquest, the conquering of the Chibcha, or the creation of New Granada. Which of those two events happened first, Chayton?
Conquering of the Chibcha.
Yeah, and who conquered the Chibcha, Chayton?
The Spaniards.
The Spanish came over, they conquered the Chibcha, they had their settlement for quite some time. Independence happens, and then eventually, New Granada is created.
You can have anything you want as long as you have metal and guns.
Okay, number two, we've got the civil war between the guerrillas and the government, or the enslavement of Africans. Ethan?
Enslavement of Africans.
Okay, and who enslaved the Africans? Spanish. They brought them over, had them working in their plantations. Civil war going on very recently. So, 3, independence from Spain or the establishment of Cartagena. This one stumped quite a few people today. Brandon.
Is it the establishment of Cartagena?
It is. Good. You're the first one who's gotten it right. Well, that's Sheridan. The Spanish established Cartagena. Then after a while, they gained their independence. The last one, Spanish settlement or creation of Gran Colombia. Which one happened first? Ryan? Spanish settlement. And Gran Colombia was created after independence. All those countries together made up Gran Colombia. And then Colombia and Panama made up New Granada. And then now it's just Colombia. Okay. For the part 2, which is going to be the If You Live There, would you guys open up in your books page 90? In your book on page 90. Okay, the If You Live There is going to be dealing with, section 3 is Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana. The 3 countries, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana, are sometimes just referred to as the Guianas. Those 3 little countries are mostly referred to as the Guianas. So if we say the Guianas, we mean Guyana, or French Guiana, Guyana, and Suriname. We're talking about all 3 of those countries when we say the Guianas. So the If You Live There, you do not write the blue stuff, just the black. You've come from your home in eastern Venezuela to visit the nearby country of Suriname. Your visit is full of surprises. As you walk along the streets of the country's capital, Paramaribo, people are not speaking Spanish, but they are speaking Dutch, English, and some languages that you don't even recognize. You see Hindu temples and Muslim mosques alongside of Christian churches. So, I want you to tell me why Suriname is so different from Venezuela. Okay, I want you to take about 3 or 4 sentences to try to figure out why that is. Why is Suriname different from Venezuela? And the If You Live There stuff is at the top of 90 if you can't see it up here.
English.
That they do. That is a difference. But why do you think it's different? What makes it different, Chayton?
Probably a long time ago, back in when they were still colonizing the Americas, the British and the Dutch settled this area more than the Spanish did, and they probably somehow had people from the Middle Eastern and more Old World regions come over there somehow, and you still have the British and Dutch Christian in there.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's all on who settled them. Colombia is made up of, you have people with Spanish, they speak Spanish, Spanish history, Spanish culture, they are Catholic. Why is that?
Spain colonized that area.
Good. Spain came over, conquered, and colonized the area. So in Suriname, they speak Dutch, they speak English. They have different types of religions. You've got Hindu and Muslim and Christian. That tells you that, a diverse group of people came over and settled here. You did have some Dutch, and you had some people from England, and like Chayton said, your old world, India possibly coming over and settling here. And that's not to say that there were no Spanish there. I'm sure Spanish got there because it's right next to all the other countries that they conquered, but not as much those three countries as they did the other larger ones. Okay? And when we talk about these, we will talk about why Spain said, forget it, we'll just get the rest of the continent. And we'll talk about the difference. This section will focus on Venezuela, which is all Spanish rule, and then the Guianas, which is different. And we'll talk about the differences there between the four countries here. So for tomorrow, what I want you to do, your next entry in your journal will be, you're going to do the terms. There are 5 of them. Llaneros, Lake Maracaibo, Caracas, strike, and referendum. Those are the 5 terms. You're going to do them in your journal. You're going to keep it in your journal. And then I have a short map worksheet of the area, of those areas there. You're going to label the following places. You've got some lakes, you've got some capitals, some bodies of water, and so on. We'll label them. And then there's 5 questions that go along with it. The ones that say be specific, for instance, if I said, where is Angel Falls? That's the question. It says be specific. If you put in Venezuela, that's not specific. All right, I want you to be very specific, okay? So this is due tomorrow along with the vocab. So you have